Welcome to the Hidden History of Magick, WitchTV, where we share how you can do the magic behind each episode.
On the heels of our Joan Quigley episode, we dive into astrology.
We discuss past lives, talk stelliums, and learn who was the biggest flirt in high school. You already know the history.
Let's dive into the magic. Rhiannon, we're gathered here today to talk about Joan Quigley, to talk about astrology, to talk about potentially skepticism when you're charting your path and making big moves. Where does astrology find you? How have you used astrology this week?
Oh, this week. It is a very auspicious week, according to the stars. I don't know if I would identify as an astrology girly, and yet I am constantly referencing that I'm a Virgo. I'm literally wearing a necklace that says Virgo on it.
What are your big three for our audience?
Oh, yes. Virgo sun, Sag moon, but also Sagittarius stellium in my 10th house. So lots of Sagittarius energy and Pisces rising.
Pisces rising. Okay.
What are your big three?
You know, my big three are controversial because I'm a Taurus. And then I thought I was a Scorpio rising. But then I recently met with an astrologer who was like, no, you're a Libra.
Whoa.
And you're a Libra rising and a Libra moon. So I feel like this has happened to me many times on my astrology journey where like I think I know what my chart says. And then someone is like, no, that's actually not accurate.
Do you know your birth time?
I do. Should we do a Google right now?
Let's pull it up right now. Come on. It doesn't have to be a mystery. Let's see. Birth chart. I can remember my birth time because I think I mentioned it before. I don't know if it's dangerous to just give my birth time on the internet.
Don't do that.
What day is your birthday? I don't even know.
May 11th.
Okay, birth time.
Okay, here we go. State of Alabama.
Oh, okay.
I was born on an army base at 5:51 p.m. This is already so productive.
Don't let other people tell you.
You know, I'm sure I've looked it up before, but, you know, we get busy and we forget. And I trusted this astrologer to whom I spoke. And so then I was like, now I have to sit with being a double Libra, which seems
well,
kind of boring, to be honest. What are you going to tell me? Oh, shit.
It's a Libra rising.
I am a Libra rising.
Yeah.
And moon?
Yep. So you're Taurus, Libra. Let me see if you have any stelliums. The reason I bring up the stelliums too is because Joan
what's
Quigley,
a stellium again? Yeah, tell us.
Okay. A stellium is when you have 3 or more planets in either a house or a sign.
Okay.
And so I have like 5 things in Sagittarius in my 10th house.
I feel like you give a lot of Sagittarius.
Oh, yeah, because I run away from my problems.
No, I just feel like you're whimsical and you're like not afraid of travel. Whereas like one of the things that I can't quite figure out about my Akashic records is like I hate leaving my house. Like I'm very Taurus. Like I'm very like, let me stay in my beauty and my garden. And then the universe is constantly asking me to like go places. And I'm like, ugh, fine.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But I surely don't want to.
On more than one occasion, someone has been like, hey, do you want to come live with me in the city? Like, sure.
I would never in my goddamn life, Rhiannon. I just never would.
Well, a stellium. Yeah. So you have 3 or more, which means that you have more of that energy in your chart. And so I know that Joan Quigley is obsessed with stelliums because she wouldn't shut the fuck up about Nancy Reagan's gorgeous Cancer stellium. She's got a gorgeous Cancer stellium.
Oh, Nancy does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like very strong Cancer energy, which is codependent, which I think, as apologies to the Cancers out there. But I think that's what Nancy
Cancers are nostalgic. They're really anchored in memories. And it's hard for them to let go of things. They're very sensitive. They're artists.
Yes.
My brother's a Cancer.
Oh, yeah. They're family oriented. Like my cousin who is a Cancer, she throws this massive party every year. Her house is the place where everyone just goes to feel safe. And like, in the town where I grew up, where she lives, there's a shuttle, like for if you go out drinking to prevent drinking and driving. And you can just call the little shuttle and they'll take you out like a party bus, but it's free. And you could just tell them, I'm going to my cousin's name's house.
And they'll
And
take you on the show.
yes, it's amazing.
That
To me, that's like,
we're so social.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe she has
it's in the
fundraising, you know?
Well, yeah, probably fundraising. I feel like it's very Mexican
I
too.
feel like we should explain this to people that you have 3 signs.
Oh, yes.
You have your sun sign, which is your birthday that you could look up in your newspaper, your little zodiac. Then you have your rising, which is, in my understanding of it, is kind of who you're going to be in the next life, who you're growing into, and kind of the attributes and things you want to kind of aspire to. And then your moon is who you were in a past life. And it's kind of qualities and things that like, and lessons you've already learned.
Oh, interesting. See,
That's how in my brain, it's like present life, future life, past life. And it doesn't have to actually, because I don't even know if I believe in past lives, but it's just, those are the qualities and attributes you've already got in your core. It's like your foundation.
What do you mean you don't believe in past lives? What does this mean?
I think that time is moving all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And
like
so
parallel lives.
Parallel lives, I believe in.
Oh,
but
same,
I'm not sure that because I think there's a lot of Catholic guilt around like, oh, I was bad and so my life is bad. Like, I think there's a lot of that of like, you know, riches and reward and punishment and guilt around things.
Yes.
And I don't actually believe that. I believe like everything's happening simultaneously.
Oh, absolutely. I'm right there with you. I only believe in parallel lives. I don't believe in karmic debt in the way that a lot of people believe in karmic debt, because I think every time I do energy work and I go to the other side, and I'm sure you experience this because you have to go to the other side to talk to people on the other side, everything's neutral. Like it's nothing's a big deal. Nothing is good or bad. Yeah.
I wouldn't say like it's not good or bad, but I feel like people are held accountable. Like I've certainly given readings where ancestors apologize.
Oh yeah, and that's a like.
What do you mean by good and bad then?
Oh, so I think that you have impact on people and people have feelings about that, but objectively, nothing is that good or bad on the other side. Everything is just experience. And I think it's because unconditional love means that there's not really judgment, but you could go through this, because I feel this about life too. Like you could go through life and there's going to be people that you are a villain to. As a person too with OCD, one of my themes is about harm. And so I spend a lot of energy trying to do no harm, but it means I can't control it. It's a losing battle, because even like trying to avoid harm, suddenly I'm being avoidant and I'm a bad guy in a story. You know what I mean? Like, or I become self-obsessed.
I think what you're saying, because I do think there's like good and bad, I think is too polarizing in my brain when I hear you say that, because I'm like, well, there are consequences to things.
Yes.
And there are, you know, things are weighed. But I think what you're talking about is like the grace that we get when we cross over, where like all of a sudden, like these very intense, even these very horrible things that sometimes we can do are seen in the eyes of spirit as the experience of our life. And it's not kind of this intense judgment, I guess.
No. And this is what I've learned, because we do have a life review according to near-death experiencers. We do experience a life review where we witness life, right?
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. And that you feel it from, a lot of people have reported that you're not just yourself in the playback, you're everyone involved in the scene.
Wow.
So that's where you experience.
Yeah.
So it's not really judgment. It's just kind of like you get to feel it.
Right.
And also,
understand the weight of it.
Yes. And also, because I believe in pre-birth plan through all of this too. This is why I don't necessarily think that there's good and bad, just experience. But someone can go, I want to experience heartbreak and betrayal. I think that would be really cool. And then so someone will volunteer and go, I'll break your heart. I think it would be fun to have an affair. And then they like set it, you know what I mean? And so on the other side, it's all just like, ooh, cool. I'm going to be cast as this character in your story. And so in that sense, like, how can we judge it as bad if people are signing up to be an abuser so that you can learn your worth through blah, blah, blah. Like if that's what you want to experience, but that's also just my cosmology. Like I understand that it's very much about my beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it in two ways, and we can
Mm-hmm.
cut this out if it feels like not relevant. But I feel like there's the path where, like, as a human, life is really hard and you're trying to survive and you're making mistakes and you're learning and you're growing.
Yeah.
And I think if even if you fuck up, as long as you're still on that trajectory of trying to be better,
Mm-hmm.
there's one avenue of it. And then I think that there are truly evil people who are like want to cause harm. And
Mm-hmm.
they use that kind of, well, it's in their blueprint for me to eat them. It's in their blueprint for me to like cause
Yeah.
violence. And I,
Epstein Files reference.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
I think that's a different energetic conversation because those people aren't trying to be better. They're just trying to find power.
Power. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a different process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's an experience. And so, yeah, it's very hard because it doesn't mean that you should like chaos, anarchy, do whatever you want, because there
Yeah.
are consequences and we're going to experience it on the other side. Like either way, we're going to experience what it is. And also, I don't think that we get out of it alive. And I don't think we get out of it without causing any kind of
Oh,
harm.
please. I mean, even trying to be kind, you can cause harm by not
Oof.
being honest. You know, there's so
Yes,
many different ways that that can manifest. So,
absolutely.
what did this have to do with astrology?
Oh, we were talking about you didn't believe in past life. So sun,
Oh, it's my
moon,
fault.
rising. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. Sun,
Sun,
moon,
moon,
rising.
rising. Because I have a different
Oh, tell
understanding.
me. Tell me.
Full disclosure, neither of us are astrologers,
No.
but we both flirt with and use astrology, right?
Oh, completely. And I do
Mhm.
believe that the signs mean something really intentionally and are
Yes.
there to kind of guide you. And I believe that fully.
Yes. Well, my understanding is that the sun sign is like the archetype of when you're born, right? That's why
Mm,
so many people could be like, I'm a Virgo, even though I'm a Pisces rising. I very
yeah.
much relate to the earthiness of the Virgo, the analytical nature of the Virgo, the critical nature of the Virgo. Like there's so many pieces of it that I very much identify with. And I think that the sun, so the way that I've seen it is that the sun is like your personality,
Mm, hmm.
but the rising is how people see you.
Oh.
And the rising is who you're becoming. Like I've heard also that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
after your Saturn return, you become your rising sign,
Got
or
it.
it's like who
And
you,
what is
it's,
Saturn returns for our audience?
I think it's when Saturn returns to the sign that it was in when you were
You were
born,
born.
which is around 27 years. So a lot of people have that quarter life crisis.
Yep. Guilty.
Do people still say that? Or was that just like
Millennials.
of the,
I
it was
don't
like
know.
such a theme for millennials,
But
but
Return of Saturn made popular by No Doubt, also second title of album. She talked
oh,
about it a lot in her work.
there you go. I feel like Gen Z doesn't call it a quarter life crisis. I think they call it Saturn return.
Mm,
And so people have felt it, you know?
yeah.
And then it happens again in your 50s. And
Oh,
so,
does it?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
God damn it.
Keeps orbiting.
I guess that it would keep going.
Yeah, and technically is that are the midlife crisis, right? So we have
Mm,
the, but it doesn't always have to, okay, we're gonna get into this because it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, like Mercury retrograde. And the moon, to my understanding, is who you are when you're in your feelings, like how
mm.
you deal with your emotions. Like it's like the way that
So
who
what
you
does it
are
mean that
at
I'm
home.
both?
Well, it probably means that you're pretty consistent. I don't know that much about Libras. I have a brother that's a Libra and a dad that's a Libra and a son that's a Libra. I have so many Libra men
You have a
around
lot
me.
of
I
Libras.
know. And I get drawn to
My
Libras.
mom is a Libra.
Oh, interesting that your moon is a
Mm.
Libra. I feel like I saw a reel that talks about that, about your moon sign is your like mom sign.
Oh.
But a Libra, I feel like, is very much about beauty.
Mm.
Like everyone I know who's got incredible style is a Libra.
Mm.
That there's this obsession with beauty. And Taurus energy, I
Taurus is
think, is
very
the
beauty.
same.
Yeah.
And beauty in the home, beauty in the surroundings. And I think Libra is the same, but also of the body. It's like
Mm.
very Venusian energy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not an astrologer, so this could all be wrong. I'm just going on vibes. And Libra weighs everything out. So when you're emotional, are you a person who's like, okay, let me see it this way, let me see it that way, that play
Totally.
devil's advocate?
I feel very balanced in it to the extent where most of the time I'll take like my oppressor's side.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I could see why they did. Like, I could give them a whole backstory, and I'm like, I get it. It's okay.
Yeah. And then do you shop when you're emotional? Would be the other thing, that because that's what I associate Libras with too, is like
Mm.
throwing a party,
You
the
know,
social.
I spend money in such a bizarre way that like I have certain rules about what I can like indulge in. And then when it comes to that particular topic, I am like, no, I have no budget. So, like
Oh.
plants, for instance, like I couldn't tell you, I don't look at a receipt. Like I'm psychotic, and books are the same. I refuse to like limit my intellectual properties.
I
But
like that
then I
those
feel
are
like I'm
your
more discerning in other places, Like I'm
I
not really but I feel like being a mom, I don't know if this relates, but I feel like I'm always buying for my kids. Like I'm not like buying fresh looks, I'm buying new shoes every 6 months because their feet are growing. So I feel like we're all constantly spending on them.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
I
fair.
feel like I've been trying to get more centered into my outfits, clothes.
Yeah. Well, you always look great.
Well, thank you. I just put a scarf on it. That's my style tip.
Amazing. See, love it. And I think that this brings up too that the reason why it's so complex, and I have a friend who has the same birthday as me,
Mm.
but we're 1 year apart, and he's a
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
and we went to high school together, and then we stayed friends for like we both lived in LA at the same time, and we would hang out all the time. We have we're very similar. Fun fact, we were voted Mr. and Miss SHS, which is like the the superlatives in high school, except voted by the teachers. So instead of the students. So I don't know what that says about us, the Virgos, born on the first.
The homecoming king queen kind of thing.
Except for that's voted by students. No, this is like for the people who are overachieving assholes, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Not like most
You didn't
likely
get
to
biggest
succeed.
flirt in high school like I did?
Oh, no.
At an all girls school question mark?
Oh, that's Libra energy, I think. There you go.
I was quite boy crazy in high school.
Oh, that's fun. I did not date very much in high school.
No.
No, I was very celibate, very much like I'm a virgin, which Virgo vibes, right?
I got to date boys from the public school, from the other private school. So then like your net was bigger. But I'm a serial
Mm,
monogamous. Like I traditionally always am in a relationship. So I was never like dating a bunch of people. I just always had a boyfriend. From like when I
wow.
was like in 8th grade to like I got married. Like I'm always in a relationship.
Wow. My Venus is in Libra.
Mm.
I'll merge with the person, or like I'm always curious about how people always have boyfriends, because it's just not
I
my
think they
experience.
were just always around.
Mm.
Maybe this sounds psychotic and I apologize. And this is my Libra privilege, but I just always had people who were around. I don't
Nice.
know what
Okay,
to say.
let's look at your Venus. Oh, your Venus is in Aries, very fiery.
Mm. Do I have any stelliums?
No,
No stelliums.
no, you do have your
Joan would be so
Mercury.
disappointed.
I know how very plain. No, stelliums are not common. So most people don't have a stellium.
Got it.
That's why. So it is like really intense. I think that's why she was obsessed with stelliums. But
Mm.
you do have Mercury and your sun in Taurus. You have your Saturn and Uranus in Sagittarius, which is fun. And then that's it.
There you
Everything
go.
else is a different, you have a pretty well distributed
Plain
birth
Jane.
chart. Yeah.
Libra. Balanced.
Balance. Yeah. I have all of my stuff except for one thing in Capricorn.
Mm.
Everything else is in 4 signs.
Wow.
I only have Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. They're all mutable,
Interesting.
which is chaotic.
Yeah. My daughters were both born on the same day. I have 2 Capricorn daughters,
That's wild that they were born on the same day.
3 years apart.
Wow. And I bet they have different charts.
And it's my father's birthday.
Whoa. Do they feel similar or can you tell the difference? Because, birth time, birth
Well,
year, birth
one of
location, all that
Virginia's
impacts.
an Aquarius rising,
Mm.
and then Poppy is a Sagittarius rising.
Oh, either way, little rebels.
I think it really manifests differently with both of them for sure.
Hmm.
Hmm.
My husband has a Sagittarius stellium too.
Mm.
So we both
What's his sun sign?
Sagittarius sun.
Got it.
Fun fact, same birthday as Jason Mantzoukas.
Look at God.
I know. I have such a weakness for Sagittarius men.
That's so funny. I would refuse to date a Sagittarius.
Oh, really? I
Yeah, I don't
mean,
know why. So in high school, I used to carry around the only astrology book you'll ever need.
ooh,
And I would write in it like who my love matches were. And Sagittarius and Taurus do not mix. So I was
that
like,
makes sense.
so we just, and they never crossed my desk. So I never really dated a Sagittarius. My husband is a Scorpio,
Oh, wow. So intense.
but a Sag rising.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, people are shocked when they find out he's a Scorpio because he really doesn't present that way.
I mean, he's a musician, though.
Yeah, but I think there's like an intensity that comes with Scorpio that he is very easy
Mm.
breezy
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
as he like presents maybe more Sag. Maybe I did end up with a Sag. Look at
You
me.
did. But yeah, it's so fun. Sagittarians to me are like comedians.
Mm,
Like they like comedy, they like philosophy, they like travel, they like being like, just let it go or whatever. That's the vibe of a Sagittarius. They're
yeah.
like the explorer, they're fiery. There's like
Mm,
movement, I think.
yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
because Baron is a Taurus rising.
Mm,
Or is he a Taurus moon and a Capricorn rising? I don't remember. He doesn't know his exact birth time. So it's one of those where he's had multiple, he's either a
yeah,
Taurus
yeah.
or a Capricorn. And I don't know. Well, I don't even know how that's possible, but there's something going on. He does have Taurus in one of his big three. And so he is like a homebody,
Mm,
hates
yeah,
travel.
yeah.
And I'm like, let's get on a plane.
Right there
Whenever,
with them.
when I get stressed out, oh, especially back when I worked in corporate America, if I was feeling overwhelmed, I would spend the day on Google Flights, just looking around
Swirling
the
flights.
world. Yeah. Like how far away can I go for as little money as possible? My budget's
Mm,
$500. How far can I get? And sometimes if it was a good deal, just book the ticket.
get up and go.
Yes.
So, how are you using astrology like in your day to day? Like, I will say, like, I got my eyes on the moon.
Hmm.
Like, I care about where the moon is, but I can't say that I'm watching trends unless something weird happens in my life. And then I kind of backtrack and go, hey, will somebody like give me an update about this? Because the energy feels weird in the collective.
I also mostly track the moon and where the moon is. I think of astrology like it's this snapshot of where the stars are when you're
Hmm.
born, right? So, like written in the stars. I think of the signs and the houses as like archetypical, like it's an archetype,
Yeah.
like in a story. So it's our story. And the archetype doesn't mean that it's firm and solid and rigid, but it's a space that we can inhabit, right?
Hmm.
And so I love thinking about astrology like I would with even just saying like autism or ADHD or whatever. It's a shorthand
Yeah.
to express how I relate with the world, how I might relate with other people, right?
Totally.
So I do like knowing what people's signs are. I do notice the trend that I'm drawn to certain types more than others or
Hmm.
repelled from certain types more than others.
Yeah.
And I think that I notice when Mercury retrograde
I
happens.
think we all notice when Mercury
Yeah.
is retrograding.
And so I think I'm the same as you are. I'm not like fully paying attention to the transits.
Hmm.
I'm not like, to me, it blows my mind that Joan Quigley would schedule to the minute because I think that there's free will. I don't think that we're that locked in to a story plot.
Well, it's interesting because when I was in contact in the desert, There was this man, and essentially he was teaching us about kind of hidden histories of Atlantis and the stars and all kinds of kind of prehistoric ways of looking at the world. And one of the things that was his main central thesis for his presentation was that depending on where the North Star is in our Earth, writes the history of whatever people are living and experiencing. So,
Hmm.
for example, let's just say hypothetically, like in the time of Atlantis, the constellation and the star was really bright, really low to the Earth. It was really easy for people to travel and for ships to cross different places. And it was a time of prosperity and love, openness, knowledge. Okay. Then the Earth, as it does, moves, that star moved away, and we got this other constellation, which basically like fucked humanity. And like the
Oh.
constellation above us was destruction, war, betrayal. And so he went through the different eras of time and was like, this is what we know based on the constellation in this place. And I'm not explaining it like beautifully, but I thought it was really fascinating. And it made me understand astrology a little bit better that, oh, perhaps like the destinies and the narratives are already written and we're embodying and playing them out here on Earth. So I thought that was kind of an interesting concept to play with. And I think that's what, when we think about transits and
Mhm.
even stelliums, like that's what's happening, right? It's a conversation with the
Yes.
stars.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, perfect sense. And that is what when people are giving the transits, when people are saying, you know, Uranus returned to Gemini and the last time this happened, we had the Civil War, like that's what people are talking about is what the sky looked like. What are the
Mm,
trends the last time that the sky looked like this? And I think because I think that we live in a simulation and
yeah.
that this is a video game that my soul is playing through this avatar,
Hmm.
I think that there are themes that I chose to be incarnated into this moment because of like the stars are giving us hints to what the themes are, but it's still an open world game.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we operate on a collective level, of course, the
mhm.
culture and the understanding, and then we operate on an individual level. So you're able to play out your
Yes,
experiences individually in conjunction to this other thing that's kind of like happening at the same time.
exactly. And so this theme of I feel like astrologically speaking, a lot of stuff is coming to the surface right now, and it's in the astrology that there is going to be revolution and that there is going to be a reckoning and a reflecting on who are we actually versus who we believe we are or think we are or say we are. I think that that's playing out on a national level, and I think that's playing out on a more like community level and on an individual level. And it's this because it's themes. It's not like, oh, don't do this on this day because it could be bad. But it is the like, I don't know, like if it's a video game, I'm thinking of how, like, sometimes when you play a video game or like a game on your phone or Animal Crossing, it's like, ooh, today's the day that the shooting stars are out. So you can play this extra bonus game where
Mm,
you catch the shooting stars. I think of that's what astrology is sometimes too.
mm.
And so even like this idea of Mercury retrograde, which happens often and for a while, it's not that it's like, ooh, bad luck's coming your way, but it's that there's things are going to break down. Communication is going to be like, we're going to throw a wrench in it so that we can see where you're coasting. So we can see where you're in autopilot. So we can see where maybe you're not communicating clearly and it's
Mm.
giving you opportunity. So it's like it's like a special challenge in the video game that
I
you can
think
work through.
Mercury in retrograde is like our chance to ground and step
Mm,
away from technology.
mm,
Because we get so dependent upon it and we want
mhm.
everything to work and move quickly and be perfect. And I think it's actually like nature's way of like pushing us back into the earth. And so I think
Yeah.
a lot of grounding is like the solution to
I also
those
think that
periods.
Yes, capitalism, the culture of capitalism. I feel like all my spirituality stuff is like anti-capitalistic, but capitalism does require exponential growth. Like even in the tech world, when you talk to investors, you're supposed to pretend like you're only ever going to get hockey stick growth.
Yeah.
Like everything has to be moving up. You have to be more productive. And guess what? If you're the same productive as last quarter, your stock price, your value drops, plummets. If you make less than last quarter, you forget it. You're out of business. Like, oh, I'm still making $5 billion, but I was last quarter, I made $7 billion. And it's like, nope, shutter your
failure.
Yeah. Like that's what capitalism expects, but nature doesn't work that way. In fact, in our bodies, our brains prune synaptic connections as part of the life cycle to make space for new growth, to make space for new learning so we don't get stuck, right?
Yeah.
Or our cells have to die and regenerate, or else when that doesn't happen, it turns into cancer.
Yeah.
When you don't allow stuff to move, to retrograde, to move backwards, to die. I mean, especially now that I live in Georgia. In California, I feel like you used to have to hire landscapers to keep things alive. But in Georgia, you need landscapers to cut it all back because it's too much. Like if you just let stuff grow, it overwhelms the trees. Like you can ruin the earth just letting it be wild and free. And so there is something about pruning. There is something about going backwards for a minute, about stopping, about slowing, that I think is a natural cycle that capitalism doesn't allow.
Of course. Absolutely. I feel like my mind is going in a bunch of different places, but something that I just want to say to validate your idea is that I just had an email conversation with a friend who's kind of pivoting her creative business. And she's moving across the country and she's kind of starting fresh. And she was asking this little group for advice about kind of what to do. And she was really burnt out. And so much of the advice was about like being on autopilot and keeping things moving. And my advice was like, take a break, drop it.
Yeah.
Come back in 3 months, come back in 5 months, come back never. We're so obsessed with holding on to something and not letting it go when it needs to. And I think it's to our detriment. And we have to get clean the slate in order to receive. We have to surrender to receive and be able to magnetize the things that we really need. We don't want to block it. And I think we're so afraid of letting things go or seeming like a failure. And then the other thing that's kind of percolating in my brain is when I was in this man's workshop that we'll leave in the links below, his name and stuff, if people want to buy his books about the stars. But I was like, okay, if we know all this history about the stars, like what are we doing now? What's the constellation now? And, I'm sure you recall everyone freaking out about the Age of Aquarius. We're in the Age of Aquarius now. That's like what our key constellation is. And so it's really interesting to kind of think about astrology in terms of like, what does that narrative mean? And he had a really beautiful answer for me because I was like, can you tell us our fortune? Yeah. What is going to happen? And he was very much like, the exciting thing about history is like, we get to write it and we get to write the story and we get to decide what history will remember the Age of Aquarius as. And I thought that was kind of a cop-out answer on stage. But also I was like, I appreciated his fluidity that, we get to pull all of these Aquarian traits and ideas and these free thinkers and these leaders and the beautiful abundance of the water. And we get to pick and choose what will come through.
I love that. And I actually appreciate the cop-out answer because that's my understanding of astrology, or my relationship with astrology is that it is the pieces that we get to work with. It's like in storytelling, it's the characters, right? It's the themes. It's maybe there is plot stuff or conflict or tension because you need to have tension and conflict in order to have a story, right? And so all of that is kind of mapped out in the stars. Because when I think of Aquarius too, I think of like outsiders, like people who exist outside a box, people who are weird. And there is this feeling of like revolution that's happening right now, but it's about there's like something thematically, I think, for the Age of Aquarius, which is very much about like existing as your unique vibration, existence, like who are you in the tapestry of life, not like you need to become dyed to become the same color thread as all the other threads, but like your thread adds color and glitter and shine. And the Aquarians to me are the like weirdo punk kids that are, although I used to be a punker in high school too, and that can be a bit conformist, but I feel like an Aquarian would be the one that's like, that's conformist. And so there is something about like the unique expression. Now, going back to this idea too of feeling like it's a failure if you pause or rest, I think that's because, again, I think this traces back to capitalism and patriarchy, is the relationship with time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like time is meant to be experienced more like the moon, where it's a circle. And I think astrology does this really well, where an entire chart, a chart isn't a linear thing going across space, right? It's a circle, and everything kind of rotates within the circle. It's a wheel of time. Exactly. Which means that we're spiraling through this wheel of time. And that's what time looks like. But when we flatten it and make it one dimensional, which is a line, right? Or is that if we flatten it and make it a line, then when you pause, then yeah, it looks like, oh, there's this dip here, here's this rise there, here's this dip. But when you put it all on a circle, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't matter. The pauses don't register because time is meant to be cyclical. And sometimes you're orbiting here and sometimes you're orbiting there. And sometimes, but it will come back around.
Totally.
A circle of time is endless. It's infinite, right? There's no end. But when we make time linear, there's an edge, and it feels like we're running towards a cliff that we're going to fall off. And I think that changes the feeling of, because I think about that too. And I don't know how much of it is because, my mother died young. And then even my dad, his dad died when he was 3 and his mother died young. And so I grew up in an environment where it's like, well, let's see if I make it to 40.
My husband is like that too. He was very like, when he reached the age that his mom passed, it was like there was a lot of tension
and it feels like it's too late. It's over. It's the end. So I had a lot of urgency because my mom died at 33. And so I had a lot of urgency before 33. And then after that, I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. Like I didn't expect to be here. So because this cliff can create this sense of urgency, but time really is this, and astrology maps it out in a way that I think makes it easy of like, it's going to come back. Oh, you missed even thinking about today is a very auspicious day. We're on June 10th, June 8th, very auspicious day. June 9th, also auspicious, not as auspicious, but this week leading up to a new moon in Gemini this is a very good luck week to plant seeds. So I'm making spell jars. I'm pulling tarot. Like I'm trying to live in this energy. And also I think about this every full moon and new moon. If I miss it, if I wasn't aware, it's not over. There will be another auspicious time with a different auspicious energy. And it's a cycle. It's never like, too late. You missed the boat. You missed the train. We took off without you, which again, very linear.
I love this idea of the circle coming back around, because I do believe that. And I think we don't miss opportunities that are meant for us. And if we look the other way the first time, it's going to circle back. It's going to keep finding us.
Yes. Yeah. And I think astrology is so, like, even just thinking about how it's mapped out, because you know what it looks like? A birth chart looks like to me is those like spirographs. Did you play with those as a kid?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like that, which is how the planets orbit, right? It's all based on the planets orbiting anyway. But again, not an astrologer. I do listen. I have the Chani app. I listen to the week ahead in astrology, but as someone it's so funny because we're part of this magic hour.
We should say it's an offshoot of Chelsea Devanta's Behind the Bangs, which is where we met, a creative writing group, and they have a little woo-woo circle. So that's what Magic Hour is.
Yes, where I give every month an energetic forecast for the month ahead. And I do pull on astrology. I use astrology, but people keep calling it an astro update. And I'm like, oh, I'm not. I like astrology. And again, love Channy's podcast and app. Thank you. I look at my birth chart all the time. That's where I reference my birth chart the most, is on the Channy app. I could just be like, oh, where's my, what's in my money house or whatever? What's going on? What the fuck is happening? And I think that as an energy work practitioner, I tap into collective energy. To me, collective consciousness feels like a stream of fog that I can plug into, and I can like hear things and sense things. And so I can tap into energetically collective consciousness. And then I can tap into collectively this like sphere of energy. And I can go, these are the themes that I'm being shown, tapping into this. And so this is what the energy feels like. And I do that first. And then I look up the astrology and it overlaps, it aligns.
Yeah.
And so I think that we have all of these tools at our disposal, and astrology is one of those great tools for self-understanding, for guidance.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ways that I use it.
Did you do yours and Sal's birth chart?
I certainly looked up in this book if we were compatible on a relationship basis and what things we had to kind of keep our eyes out for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. I'm a Virgo and Barron's a Sagittarius, already established, which is the same as Beyonce and Jay-Z. So I am absolutely the Beyonce of this relationship. No, I'm just kidding. And I've had to write a lemonade. You know what I mean?
Wow, wow, wow.
So I feel like there are examples out in the world.
Now I want to know if there's any famous Taurus and Scorpio matches.
Oh, yeah. Do you share a birthday with any celebrities?
I don't know, to be honest. Do you?
I do. I know from a very young age, I share a birthday with the only person who I used to say, Gloria Estefan.
Ooh.
And now I know my children's TV grandma, Lily Tomlin.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of funny. Sofia Coppola, obviously famous director, married to Thomas Mars, who's in the band Phoenix.
Is that not?
Is that funny?
A perfect match.
Yeah, how funny.
You can lay that on top of
right.
you. Because when I think of you and you're directing, I still have to watch Dreamgirl. Happy birthday to Dreamgirl.
10 years, a decade old. Thank you.
You do feel very ethereal, Sofia Coppola.
Really?
I mean, look at your little scarf.
I've never identified with her, but I'll take it. For people who don't know, my husband, Sal, has been in so many bands, so many bands. He's currently in a project called Gato Black. And I very famously, my claim to fame is I pushed him to be a frontman. He was a guitarist in 2 or 3 projects before we started dating, but then he would do karaoke like he was Mick Jagger. And I was like, why aren't you just singing your own songs? And then he did. So now he sings and writes his own stuff.
That's amazing.
Look at us. We're just the Sofia Coppolas of... How funny. That's funny.
What's interesting about thinking about the big 3, right? Sun, moon, rising. My sun and rising are opposites. I was born at sunset. So I think that's also part of why they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. I don't know how it works. Again, not an astrologer. Yeah. But I am a Virgo. I'm not like a Beyonce Virgo, though. I do not take up more than 24 hours or whatever we all have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. No, I am not that. I'm not that kind of Virgo. And I think it's because I'm a Pisces rising. So you
do a lot of work, girlfriend.
I do a lot of work. I love it, though. You know what's so funny? When I was a child, I would play.
Beyonce loved to work.
I did used to do choreography in my, this is Britney Spears, Slave for You. Oh, yeah. So I would like record the VMAs and I would spend all night just doing choreography or building websites or, I am a busybody, definitively a busybody. And I do love to work for fun. Not for any other reason, but like I would play school as a child and write reports for my pretend school assignments.
Yeah.
And the one time I remember I got in a fight with my friend because she didn't give me an A on my paper. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is like the best paper on Sweden that has ever, like it was I spent so much time. And so it was like a whole thing so pretty Virgo, I think. And I think people see me as more flighty and ethereal and like, I can't quite read you is something that people have told me a lot. And I think that's because it's this thing where your rising sign is how people view you. So to me, I'm like, I'll voice what I'm thinking. I'm very critical and I'll say it out loud. I am a workhorse. I'm analytical about everything. I love all of that. And to me, it's so obvious. And then people are like, oh, you're a bit like flighty and wishy-washy and whatever. And so then it kind of forced me to look into Pisces. And I think I am very Pisces.
I do love a Pisces, though. I think Pisces have good energy and they're not like as, what's the word? Stuck in their beliefs.
Yeah.
They can kind of move.
I feel like Pisces energy is like a cloud. And I love clouds. And when I'm feeling my most spiritual and most aligned, I can feel this. This is going to sound wackadoodle, but we're here to be wackadoodle. I can feel the space between my atoms. I feel like physically, my physical body doesn't feel dense. It feels like a cloud where a cloud is like the droplets of water and there's space between the droplets. Oh, it's the best feeling. I've walked around, obviously, like astrology, right? Like I can't walk around like that forever. And so when I have the moments where I'm like, oh, I'm aligned, this is it, I will just savor that feeling, because feeling like a cloud feels so just like light and good.
You got to leave our audience a cloud meditation now.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I mean, I'm trying to call that energy back in, because I had that experience. I had some like weird awakening situation at the end of last year, and I felt like a cloud again. And it had been a while. It had been like 10 years since I had felt that.
Wow.
But I'm out of it again.
We'll call it back in.
Oh,
ring a ding ding. I'm wondering where we leave Joan here in our pantheon of ladies and women in history. I feel like it's interesting because I know from our research, we really tend to take the woman's side, who we do episodes about. And Joan is a bit of a mystery, right? Or maybe mystery is not the right word. She's a bit controversial.
She had me siding with Nancy Reagan. I am thinking back to our conversation and I was like, oh, I sound like a Nancy Reagan fan. And I think she's evil.
Right.
But that's where Joan Quigley had me.
Yes, she's perhaps one of our most famous astrologers, but our most controversial. And I mean, I know in the research that we did that people are still blaming her for the policies and the politics that are happening in the United States now. So
I think one of my favorite takes that I heard is that, because I do think that where we are today politically is the seeds planted by Reagan. It is Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan did this. And I feel like it's because magic is neutral, right? And so she was using astrology not for the benefit of America, which I think we talked about.
Right.
She was doing it for the benefit of Ronnie. I think that his seeds were protected and blessed by the stars, or, like it doesn't matter what your wishes are. Like if you're doing magic with an intention supported by the astrology, I think that's why they took root so deeply, is because it was blessed by astrology in that sense. And I think part of the problem is that Joan herself stripped away the spirituality from astrology.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, I think, and I had kind of gotten into this a little bit with Chelsea in our bonus episode, I believe, because we were talking about crystals. And she was saying that it doesn't really matter when white women like fuck around with crystals. And I was like, no, it does actually. You're actually still using the magic, even if your intention is not totally grounded. So it's kind of an interesting debate over how to use magic, who gets to use it. And I think also the thesis of our show a little bit that if these are tools that are out there, that we should be getting them out and talking about it more and talking about some of the not mysterious, but like unseen conversations around them.
Well, and I think that, again, everything is neutral. There's no good or bad in spirit. Everything is neutral, and you get to wield it as tools. And so people are hexing their exes, and bad stuff is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there are plenty of examples of people using magic malevolently, and it works. Magic isn't an arbiter of justice and truth and like, oh, nope, only good people get to use magic. Everyone's using magic. It's all over the Epstein files that they were doing Aleister Crowley style magic. And so I think that, yes, one of the themes of this podcast, or like the main thesis, is that if people are using magic and it's working for their own personal gain, I mean, we've got the Reagans, we've got Vanderbilts, we've got JP Morgans. You know what I mean? Like, these people are using magic to build wealth.
Yeah.
To build power, to hoard power. And so I think that it doesn't matter if you use it for good or bad, it's going to work. And then how you feel about it and the consequences that come from that, I think there will be a reckoning. Like, you have to balance the checkbook or whatever, even if it's in your life review. You know what I mean? So you might as well be using magic I think it should be for highest good. But there are people who are not doing highest good. So what then? You know what I mean? Magic's not going to stop them.
Yeah, it's like an interesting conversation because we have free will, as we have said over and over again. And so our ability to kind of discern and decipher and use these tools are up to us. And I guess the thing that I think about, and maybe this is like the mother in me, is like, I want the earth to succeed. I want Earth to succeed. Yes. I want it to keep going. I don't want, climate change and war, all these things. So, and maybe that's the roots of having children and seeing other generations take it over. I love at the Buffalo Zoo, when you exit, there's this beautiful Native American proverb, and they don't specify what tribe, but let me Google it.
Oh, yeah.
We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children.
Yes.
And I think, that's when I do magic. I was actually doing magic in the shower before we got here. And, I like to do kind of my prayers for abundance and things like that. And I'm working with certain guides, and I'm kind of playing with song and with things. And anyway, then at the end of my kind of like little circle I had opened, I was like, let me do a little song for the earth. Let me send a little love, we want Earth to succeed. And some people don't.
I know, that's insane to me. It doesn't make sense to me, except that, people are socialized that way.
I'm a Libra. I get it. Some people are fucked up in the head.
Well, and I think that it comes down to believing, this is where mysticism comes in, right? Is like believing that the tree is a spirit, that the grass has a soul, that the rock is a spirit, that the house that I am living in, it's not a possession, or, it's very Pocahontas, Colors of the Wind or whatever.
Shoot it into my veins.
Yes. Like the earth is not a dead thing you can claim. You know what I mean? It's not like my house.
I know every rock and tree and creature. Don't get me started.
Yeah. So it is this thing of like, if you don't believe that inanimate objects are living, if you don't believe that the earth is living, if you don't believe that the ocean has consciousness, if you don't believe that the plants are beings, then of course you can just like bulldoze it, because everything is for your own personal
gain.
Yes. And I think that's part of the video game too, is that there are plenty of people who came here and wanted to, it's so funny because I like hate wasting and plundering. And so even playing a game like Animal Crossing, that's so like sweet.
What is Animal Crossing? I don't know what that is.
It's a game on the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it had a moment during the pandemic where a lot of people were playing Animal Crossing, but you like, I don't know, chop wood and build houses. You build houses
Okay.
and trade and you craft things. And it's like one of those games, like Minecraft, I think is like that too, where you're just going around the land. But for me, you collect bugs and you can craft bugs into things, or, you know, like you have a field guide where you go into the ocean and you have to discover different animals. And once you discover them all, it's very sweet. And there are cute little animals, and new people arrive on the island all the time, and you're supposed to make friends. And if you don't talk to people every day, then they get angry with you. So it's very sweet. And it's like a design game too. But in that game, I could feel myself going, I can't cut down all the trees. You know what I mean? If I'm going to chop down these 5 trees, I got to plant 5 more.
I better plant some.
Yeah. And so it's a game where there are no consequences. And I'm still like, I just like can't plunder. It would make the game go a lot faster if I did.
Yeah.
But
they need a version for witches who are more conscientious.
It's so interesting. But I think that ultimately all of this is neutral, and we can come and everything's meaningless, right? And we can come play how we choose to play. And again, there's going to be consequences to that. There's going to be lessons in that. And because of that, like if you wanted to hex someone, if that's how you wanted to spend your time and energy focused on someone else, you're allowed to, you can. And also you can do it to, I'm a big thing too about like, I think it's so painful to like, I don't believe that you should use love spells to make someone fall in love with you. Because if you have to convince someone to love you, you're going to be cursed the rest of your life. It's the lesson. You've never seen this movie. It's the moral of the story in Teen Witch. Very important lesson. And I think that there are other spells that you can do that are better, like a glamour spell that makes you feel hot and magnetic, and like suddenly doors are opening, and it's not just about this one person or this one path. Like, I think that we've talked about this before, and I think astrology this is how my relationship with astrology is, that there's not one destiny or story written in the stars. There's these like buckets of themes that you're playing with, and you could go any which way in this sphere of possibilities, right? And so focusing on one person to get them to fall in love with you, you could be missing the person who is obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And so that is everything that you want. And so I think that astrology is the same way. And that because everything is neutral, we can think about it in a bad way. Like you could do whatever you want, or you can also think of it as like, we create the meaning that we want in our lives. We're writing the story that we want our lives to be. And what are your values? What is the story that you care about? And using the pieces like being a Virgo, caring about this thing, having this relationship with the spotlight or money or whatever, what kind of story do I want to tell if these are the pieces in my hands that I can work with and play with?
Amen, amen, amen. I think we did it. I think we talked about it.
Oh, no, we did talk about astrology. A lot of us, again, not astrologers,
sharing our loves, our stories, our insights on astrology. I think we did it.
We did.
I'm going to go donate to the bees now. Oh. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Hidden History of Magick. If you like the show, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. This show is produced by Rhiannon Houch and Erin Bagwell. A very special thanks to our patrons who make this podcast possible.
To join our coven of gorgeous witches, get bonus episodes, attend live events, and learn real magic inspired by each episode, join us on Patreon.
If you would like your own personal reading from Rhiannon or Erin, check out our links in the show notes. Until next time.